Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I am officeblokedaz.
I'm officeblokedaz.
I'm Gaynor.
Okay, bit of a food one here. Before we start, don't forget we've got Patreon as well. Do you want to tell them about Patreon, Aid?
I will tell you about Patreon. If you go and subscribe to our Patreon, you can get loads of new and exclusive content that you won't be seeing on YouTube. Stuff that like... What is it? Modern Family, that's the one. Modern Family, we're doing full episodes of that. We're season 1 all the way through season 10.
Yeah.
So you could be there all day.
All
Binge watching.
for how much is it per month, Aid?
$3.
Supports the channel,
just
doesn't
one
it?
price.
Yeah.
No tiers.
Price of a cup of coffee.
There you go. We've got a food one here. House chef Matt Bernero runs an iconic British steakhouse in New York City. British steakhouse? Hang on a minute.
I know.
That doesn't
Brits
sound
can't
right.
cook.
We
That
can't
doesn't
cook.
sound
We've
right.
got
Brits don't know how to
such
do
bland,
food.
horrible food.
Yeah, Brits can't do food. Yeah, so this is Matt Bernero. Do you know which restaurant I think this is?
I do.
Oh, I'm gonna have a clue.
Hawksmoor.
The Hawksmoor.
Which is one in Manchester.
Yep.
Steakhouse in Manchester. Very difficult to get
I was
into.
going to say, if you have to book weeks and weeks in advance.
It is
to get
very
in.
hard to get into. Yeah, but very good steakhouse indeed.
Still
so
not
I think
been?
I think it's the Hawksmoor, but let's have a look. Go for it. House chef Matt Bernero runs an iconic British steakhouse in New York City. Clocking in.
Hawksmoor in its bones is a steakhouse, and the kind of culture that we've created here is we've merged the UK and the US seamlessly. The adrenaline of the excitement of the guests and the team kind of pushes me through every day. Morning, guys. Doing good. My day starts with people and product. So first is checking in on the team, and then doing the same for all of our products and making sure that everything's to our standard. So this is some meat that we've selected from the delivery that just came in. These are the cuts that we're going to fabricate today. A small percentage of the beef that we'll go through here in a day at Hawksmoor. First thing we're always thinking about here is beef. So our beef supply is usually the first to come through the door in the morning. We check it in, we inspect it. On a weekly basis, we go through a literal ton of beef, where we try to utilize the whole carcass as much as possible. So we sell almost the whole cow. Incredible amount of beef comes through these doors every day.
A lot of marbling.
So this is Chef Patty, sous chef here in charge of grill development, steak development, everything beef, and a master butcher.
So this is a whole rump off the bone, so fresh out of our dry aging facility. So the rump is the bum, basically. It's a hard-working muscle, and top sirloin is what it's known as. It's my personal favourite cut.
The rump steak is really important to our mission as part of our sustainability mission, and also with our UK roots being such a popular cut there for the Sunday roast. It was really important to us to introduce the US to it and show them how delicious that cut could be.
We'll actually use this cut for our tartare dish.
Patty's here from the UK, a longtime member of the Hawksmoor team, and he's the driving force behind all things beef and grill at Hawksmoor. Having someone with Patty's skill, how to train the staff, both front and back of the house, was really a big integral part in opening the restaurant, and has really allowed us to be as successful as we've been in just being open for 3 months. He's got his head around ounces now.
Yeah, still getting to grips with Fahrenheit. We track the dry aging of it so that we know that it's at that perfect sweet spot of what we want in a Hawksmoor steak, between 28 and 35.
Just press pause, Aid.
I've just separated off.
That knife must be so sharp.
I know.
It looks like he's just tickling it
I know.
and it's just slicing
I thought
off.
before when he started cutting it before, I thought that knife's super sharp.
Yeah.
It's one thing I always love to have is a proper sharp knife when cutting
yeah.
stuff.
We had a roast dinner yesterday, and I was like soaring through my meat, like.
Yeah, but you want a proper sharp knife, and
Yeah.
it's
For food, right?
no, for when you're cooking as well.
Ah.
It's for food. Yeah.
Off what's known as the barrel cut from the D rump. So now we're just going to break down the D rump into steaks. So this is our rump, or top sirloin as it's known in the US,
Yeah,
on the
that's good,
menu. 12 ounces. It's a fantastic steak.
This is kind of a cut that many cultures use, right? So Brazilians, picanha. In France, they call this the culotte, the rump cap in English, and here we just call it delicious. So this is the cut we primarily will use for tartare. A huge reason why we chose rump is that chew to it and that strong beefy flavor. The texture, the umami from the age, incredible. We're gonna put together steak tartare so we can make sure that the steak is at the quality we need for service tonight.
Steak tartare is like so raw, innit?
Yeah,
It's just
I
pure
love
raw,
steak
mixed
tartare.
with like
Yeah.
egg.
Yeah, you have an egg on it.
Yeah.
I'd love Mike to have. I'd love to get Office Bloke Mike to try steak
Because
tartare.
I
watch his
love
face.
like
Love
raw beef and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I
don't
Same.
I?
We basically tested every cut on the cow, and the rump outperformed everything else. We hide the yolk, so it's like a little bit of a surprise to the guests when they cut it open.
It's delicious, that.
It is.
Fantastic dish on the menu tonight. So at Hawksmoor we use a Turkish-styled grill, which is actually a replica of the grill in our very first restaurant, and every restaurant since, and is part of the DNA of who we are. So this is a beautiful lumpwood charcoal we get from Ecuador. Huge chunks of wood, burns really, really hot, really long time, amazing flavor.
You basically want to create some air pockets so there's enough oxygen to circulate to help start the fire. The quality of the charcoal this good, it literally takes 30 seconds to light, so there's no need for any chemicals or anything like that. It's just pure like fire and oxygen, just playing with the elements. So you really want a nice dry charcoal, and that's why it creates that crack. It's the layers of wood where it's been carbonized, there's like air trapped in them. It's just a sign of good charcoal when it starts to spit like that.
Working with charcoal in New York is unique, mostly due to the cost of building out a charcoal kitchen.
What you do is you get the grill lit so that it is super hot, and then you create your hot spots to what your personal cooking style is. So we'll always have one side that's ready to cook and one side that's burning. And then it's like a game of Tetris. You're always moving from side to side to play with what's best for the steaks at the time.
Here in America, we're a newer country, and we're starting to realize and care a bit more about like what our animals eat. In the UK, they have a bit of a head start on that. They have a ton of old world farming.
Grass-fed is like kind of almost seen as a bit of a nouveau thing, whereas in the UK, it's it's what the majority of our cows
norm,
are fed and raised on grass.
Rather than just taking exclusively porterhouses out of the short loin, we take the whole thing. Porterhouse will have the largest amount of filet, probably our most popular sharing steak. As you start to go a little bit further down the short loin, you get to the T-bone, and then as you get even further down, you lose the filet totally, kind of get our bone-in strip out of this, which I would say is my favorite steak on the menu. It's beautiful bone on the side, excellent flavor, nice and thick. What's your favorite patty?
Of the three?
Yeah.
Strip on the bone.
Yeah, we agree on that one.
Yeah. To be honest, my least favorite is porterhouse. But I don't know if you want to use that or not. But
Your bloody tadpole, chef.
oh, merci beaucoup. This is the whole tenderloin, or fillet, as we'll know it in the UK. Very lean piece of meat.
What we do with the tenderloin here at Hawksmoor is quite unique. Places will take just the center cut barrel, get fillets, everything else goes. For us, we do full tenderloin utilization.
So we're going to break down the tenderloin into our three parts. So we'll have the head, which will be our Chateaubriand, and then of course the tail will butterfly and use as our skirlie. And that's where you can see a bit of our British culture coming in. The skirlie is a Scottish dish traditionally, and the name comes from the sound of the oats and the fat hitting the pan. It makes that sk kind of sound. And that's what we'll get seared off for the cast iron. We'll make a call on how many fillets we can get out of that before it starts to cut into the chateau. In this case, it's 2. And then what you're left with is a nice even chateau that's got 3 pieces to it. That's what makes a chateau, where you have the end of the centre barrel and then the 2 side muscles. And that'll go on our blackboard later.
Our pastry program, I look at as our secret weapon. Carla's a pro, an amazing team, an amazing variety of desserts. People come in just for dessert. It's really becoming a huge part of our identity here. This is by far my favorite morning snack. Maybe the maple tart, neck and neck, but this is my favorite thing to quality control in the mornings. Normally I'll be over here and she just kind of leaves it on the corner, gives me the look. That's when I know I can have it.
Well, great job, eh?
So we're making the chocolate shells for the Grand Rocher, 70% chocolate.
Carla is going to be making the Grand Rocher, which is one of our signature desserts. It's inspired by her childhood favorite holiday dessert, the Ferrero Rocher candy, and this is her play on it that we do in the restaurant.
I like Ferrero Rocher.
It's very important that we try to do as thin as possible. It's gonna be pretty hard to cut into them if they're not thin. This is definitely for me one of the perfect chocolates to have in this time of the year, for sure. It's always in my house, always. It's my guilty pleasure.
You make it look so easy.
I know.
So it's 12 p.m. We just finished butchery, the grills are lit, and now we're gonna start to get ready for our daily steak test. So Patty will take one piece from every cut that comes in. We taste it, we talk about it, we make notes, and if anything doesn't make the cut, it doesn't make the menu.
Quite a generous seasoning of Maldon sea salt. A, because we lose a little bit on the bars as they fall
That's
through.
a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
But also the big heavy flakes make for a great crust and enable us to get that Maillard reaction going, caramelization. Flavour, its texture and its appearance as well. But we don't want bar marks, we want a nice even golden brown crust throughout our steaks. Obviously different steaks have different fat levels, which will make for where and how long you need to cook them. So the heavier the fat, the quicker the char, because there's a bigger conductor of heat running through the meat. Whereas something like a fillet, which has like much less fat, will take longer. You can see how good our extraction system is by how quickly it's going up. So although it looks like a lot of smoke, it helps create my natural charcoal cologne.
The main difference between cooking with gas or cooking with charcoal is as the juices of the meat, the fat is dripping onto the coal, it's creating that bit of smoke which is kind of coming up and almost like glazing the meat with a whole nother layer of flavor, and I almost call it our secret sauce here.
You have to pay attention the whole time, otherwise something can overchar or burn, and then it's just no good. We won't send it.
How many steaks have you cooked, do you reckon?
Since ever, millions. I wouldn't be able to count as many.
The importance of taste testing each and every steak is every cow is different, especially once we put something into 35 days of age, a lot of things can happen, there's a lot of variables. So we take one piece off of every.
It's interesting how they don't want any bar marks.
Yeah, because a lot of places want that.
Want
I
they?
think,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I've
you
seen
know.
them in many restaurants I've been in, they have the bar marks on them.
Yeah.
But it's funny how he doesn't want any.
Well, I'm wondering if those bar marks make it less tender.
Yeah, possibly. There's obviously a reason behind it, and
Yeah.
one of the reasons why the Hawksmoor is probably one of the best steakhouses
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
You know, that's.
Can't believe we've still not been. I've been
I
mithering
know,
for years
I know,
to go.
I know, but do you know how many times I've walked past it as well and thought, I'll book us in now, or I'll go in and see if we can get availability, and I've just gone, nah. 'Cause it's just a door in Manchester, isn't it?
Yeah.
Looks a bit unassuming when you go
Yeah.
up to it.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
try and book in. No.
I'd
not
get
been.
in. I've got a contact there.
Jesus.
Have you?
Yeah, Mr. Rowe.
I was going to say Cole Rowe.
Yeah.
every subprimal that comes in and test it. And it's a real indicator of what the rest of the beef is going to taste like, and we can flag any issues.
So let's start with this. This is our, it's not on the menu yet, it's the grass-fed, grass-finished bone-in rib chop. Crack on and try a bit.
This is the rib that we brought in this morning, so this is a new cut from a new supplier. First time we've actually tasted it. 35 days in the box, really good, and I think as more gets ready, we'll start to see it on the menu.
This is the boneless strip.
Great texture, amazing
Great,
flavor from the age. Yep, that's a winner.
Yep.
It's absolutely essential that we have the whole senior team in the kitchen during the beef tasting, so it's not just my opinion, but it's the house opinion, and also to help develop their palates as chefs. Well, now he needs to cut 10 times more meat than we did on camera. So if we do 250 cover service in the restaurant, 220 covers come off of that grill.
It's a two-person job.
Yeah.
So now the meat's been prepped, we're going to send it back down into the fridge, get everything weighed up, and get ready for service.
So now we're in our prep kitchen.
What time does this place open?
Well, I was just going to say they obviously don't open for lunch because it's 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
they
Manchester-
start-
Just a dinner
Manchester,
place?
3-4 o'clock.
Yeah.
I don't think the Hawksmoor in Manchester's open for lunch. Maybe
it's
Sunday.
Yeah, it's,
I think
yeah,
it might
it's-
be open Sunday, but again, I don't think it's like midday.
No, I think it's about 3 o'clock,
Yeah.
isn't it? And also, I forgot what I was going to say then.
But the team just seems to gel for me.
Yeah.
This team's working. No one yelling.
No.
You know, like chefs normally do, and and stuff like that. Everyone's sort of like got a nice.
You never know when
job.
it's
I mean,
like-
obviously
Yeah.
pre-service.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not as stressful times, is it?
But I don't think none of
And
them
they're
look
on
stress
camera.
cases, though, do they?
No.
They all look kind of calm and
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
know
all
what they're doing. Yeah.
This is kind of the heartbeat of the restaurant, where everything that happens behind the scenes before it gets sent upstairs for service. This is Nick, one of the sous chefs on the grill. So Chef Nick here is weighing out all the steaks for the service. So these are all the large cuts that we sell by the ounce. So they all get individually weighed, packed up in peach paper, and labeled with the ounces. As customers order them, we know which one to identify from the drawer and make sure that everyone gets the steak that they've picked. So we're just going to weigh out the chateaus for tonight's service.
That's my
6 will
favorite
probably
chateau
take us
brand.
into the first 2 hours.
Usually for 2 though,
We'll
innit?
most likely sell around 16 or 20 in the evening. A chateau like this coming in at 31 ounces. Because of no bone, it's about 10 ounces of meat per person. Plenty for 3. And then we have something here closer to 22 ounces. This is a great steak for 2, or 1 very hungry person.
Yeah.
2 reasons we weigh the steaks.
You weighed it.
1, for kind of our experience for the guests with the marking off of the chalkboard and giving them that control of how much beef they want to consume. And for us, we can, manage our costs down to the ounce. This is a count of all of the large format steaks that we're going to sell by the ounce that'll go on the blackboards. We have the different ounces that are available, and then how many in each category we have available for each service. The sides that we do at Hawksmoor are as important as the beef. We want to have kind of a rounded dining experience.
Is that Yorkshire
You don't
pudding?
just
Yeah.
come in,
Yorkshire
eat
puddings.
steak and leave. So here we have the Yorkshire pudding batter. This is another kind of ceremonial act we do every night. The batter needs to be prepared 24 hours in advance. How do they look, Chef?
Look okay, actually, yeah.
So you can see that beautiful rise, that nice indent, and then you have that nice, beautiful, pillowy inside. Yeah, so we bake roughly 300 Yorkies before the service every day. They go with the potted beef. So this is our potted beef. What we do with all...
They didn't really look like Yorkshire puddings, though.
They do.
I think they
They
do,
do.
but like they didn't have like a hole at the top. It's normally like a bowl.
Yeah, he said it depends on how you cook them. They've got the
That's
they've got
how
the
they're
little one.
supposed to look.
Yeah, but
Oh, really?
Yeah, and no, they do look like the regular Yorkshire pudding, but the ones you're talking about, like the ones that looks like a big deeper indent, they've got the smaller indent. That's all it
Yeah.
is.
All of our trim, we confit them in beef fat, and then that gets kind of whipped together in almost like a rillette, served in a little jar with Yorkies, bone marrow onion gravy on the side, and just like another way that we try to be really sustainable and using everything that we have in the restaurant. So this is a half an evening's of bone marrow. We go through about 1,500 pounds of bone marrow a week. Bone marrow is in everything. It's in our burger, it's in our oysters, it's in our sauces.
Oysters?
It's one of our favorite ingredients. The goal of that center cut is just really optimizing how much marrow meat is inside each bone. And you could just see in there, by taking the center cut of the bone, you get that beautiful deep cup of bone marrow. You could just slide it out like that. So this is day 2 of the triple cooked chips. Last night, the prep team steamed and shuffed these. From the shuffing, you get all these beautiful imperfections in the potato, and that's what's going to get very, very crispy and create the signature triple cooked chip. So this is Mohamedou. Mo has been with us since day 1 when we opened Hawksmoor, and his primary mission every day is triple cooked chips. So many different variables of how it can go sideways, but a real master of what he does. Are you tired of chips?
No.
No, never tired of chips, right? Our triple cooked chips take 3 days from start to finish. It's a labor of love, but when you see the guest enjoying it, it all is worth it. We do the triple cooked chip, and we also do a beef dripping fry. And we have a clientele that remembers that flavor and is like, I just can't put my finger on it. And that's exactly what it is. It's the original flavor of a McDonald's fry.
Oh, wow.
All right, guys, 3 o'clock, staff time.
3 p.m., so they must open about 5.
Yeah, 4.
Afternoon, guys. All right, Mikey, let's hear it.
Hell yeah. We have 200 reservations for this evening.
When the line staff arrives, we have a briefing, talk about last night, what went well, what didn't, menu changes, anything like that, and just kind of bring everyone together before we start the day. All right, so have great service, guys. So everyone's outside eating their family meal. I'm just boxing off what I'm working on. We cut all of the raw meat and fish as close to the service as possible. Starting to get to that intense part of the day, race to the finish line. This production is beginning. We have a little over 70 employees at Hawksmoor. This is the largest team I've managed as a chef. We have a lot of legends in each department, and we're just really trying to build something special here. It's 4:45 on the dot. We're doing our sauce check every day. This is the last test before we go into the service. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just shy of 20 here. Cream spinach is a big one. It's a staple here. Tasting the 2 meat sauces, the veal and the chicken, both really good. That one, my favorite sauce. If you don't feel the anchovy, then you don't know you're eating it. Too much anchovy and it overpowers what you're eating with. Small window of perfection. And then the chips. Crunchy, nice acid from the malt vinegar. Great batch of chips. A little bit more salt on the tartare, but everything else great. So here you can see all our single cuts for the service, and then in the bottom is everything sold by the ounce. Doors are open, and the guests are going to start to come in. Game time. At 5:30, the curtain goes up, lights go down in the dining room, and then it becomes all about the guest. As the day transitions into service, it becomes more of a conductor role. So we have a bar, we have private dining, which is huge.
That's quite crazy then, how they started cooking at 9 in the morning and not to serve them at half
2 days
5.
before with the chips.
Yeah.
2 days before with the chips as well.
9:30 they lit the grill, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah.
So it just simmers all day.
It was a long time.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's why it's one of the world's best steakhouses, isn't it?
Yeah.
And taking off, and then we have the restaurant. You know, we're kind of air traffic control on the pass, making sure that we are able to serve all 3 at the same time. Beautiful porterhouse. Service, please. So this is our cast iron steak, taken from the tail end of the fillet. Bone marrow scurly on top. Beautiful chiffonade of parsley, pinhead oats, a little bit of sea salt. Ready for service. Tonight we have around 220 on the books, plus 2 private dining events booked, and then a full bar. One of the beauties of being in an open kitchen and standing in the dining room is you get to feel that energy of the clientele as well as the floor team, and it's incredible. So this is our bone-in rib chop, nice T-bone, and a big boy 40-ounce Chateau. So the beautiful rib chop, Atlas carrots cooked with cider and mustard. This is 2 sides of bone marrow, smart table. Night's almost through. Porterhouses are gone, ribs are almost gone, couple big ones to sell. By the end of the service, you know, it can be quite exhausting, but we're always quite enthusiastic and excited by the end because it's just a huge accomplishment what we do here every day. I finish once the last check leaves, so around 10, 11 o'clock at night. Check out with the senior team, and then off to my next job with my son.
11 open menus, and we're all in for the evening.
All in, Woot. Boys, all in.
Yes, sir.
Enjoyed
Made
that.
me hungry, that.
That's a long day to work.
It is a long day, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's hospitality for you, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of having a nice glass of red wine with that now.
Yeah.
I've got to taste it.
I want to be
taste
there. I
it
want
all.
him to serve me now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Steaks.
It's like, that's what I was thinking a minute ago. I wonder what time it's going to come out. And then all of a sudden you realise you're watching a video and you're thinking, oh, no, I'm not going to get that, am I? How good did you look, though?
I know.
Yeah, oh, brilliant.
But I was just wondering, so obviously as they sell everything, they cross it off on the board.
Yeah.
So if you've got, say, a 40-ounce steak left at the end of the night, I wonder how long you can keep that, whether you can sell it the next night or that's it. It's got to be...
it'd be refrigerated. Wanted to sell it the next night.
Yeah.
38. They've been sat there for 30 days in the refrigerator, but uncut.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Once it's been cut, I don't know what the deal is then.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. You're asking me. I don't know nothing about cooking. You know what I mean?
No,
Struggle with making a bowl of
how long
cornflakes.
they can actually keep the steaks, whether that night it has to go or whether.
Yeah.
They did say that they sell pretty much everything every night, though, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean, the profit margins they'll have on it that will be
Huge.
comfortable enough to warrant losing a couple of steaks.
Yeah, I've looked at the menu before and it is expensive.
Yeah. It's probably I wouldn't say it's the best restaurant in Manchester. It's up there because I know Nana has a Michelin star, I think.
Yeah.
So it's I know these ones that are.
But that's a steakhouse, isn't it? Nana's more of.
Yeah, I think it's, not sure what it is actually.
It's what I would call food.
Yeah.
It's got like froth and everything on it.
Yeah. But I know Hawksmoor's. I know it's very difficult to get in Manchester, but we'll get in there.
Yeah.
Our book is in. We'll go. Yeah. You can even come as well. If
Really,
you
am I invited?
Yeah, you can come. You're paying though.
Yeah.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers.
Bye.